You know without you I'm so lonely. When you're not here, 911 calling. Into your heat again, I'm darling you, baby.
Hi, we're three K-pop darlings, just chatting K-pop. I'm Mama J,
Missy,
and Baby Kim, and we're back with you again. Woo-hoo.
hopefully you're ready. I don't think I am, but that's okay.
So today we're going to talk about the idol life, idol culture. I don't know, what are we telling this? Who knows?
I don't know either. It's like, I think idol life would be good. Because it's like,
That's kind of a
our
fun thing to
take
think about.
on idol life. Because obviously,
I'm not an idol.
I'm not an idol either.
Sadly.
Although I would like an idle life where I do nothing, lay around, idle all day.
I want
That'd
to
be fun.
nap. Yes, nap life. This is life. I approve.
Hammock and a breeze
Hmm.
and a good
Book.
drink and a book. Okay, idle life, not that kind.
These guys.
This kind of life.
These
Idle
kind of lives.
life.
Let's see. So how do we want to start this lovely discussion topic?
I think we need to talk about our perception because we get to perceive whatever they tell us or allow us to see.
Exactly.
Our perception of what they do on a daily basis or what their life might be like. And then maybe we can talk a little bit about the scary side of that and some of that paparazzi craziness.
Yes, with some.
We'll see how it goes because, you know, we don't stay on topic very well.
No. It's a good thing that we decided
We
to do
different.
this ourselves.
Chatting K-pop, right?
Yeah, we just chat
It goes
K-pop.
like this.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
However, sometimes we want off, but too bad you're
So
here.
it's just a little bit like Joshua's brain.
Or all of 17.
yeah, all of 17.
Yeah.
They
the
share
collective
one
brain cell.
Yeah. Who gets it today? Likely Woozy. Woozy has a lot, I think, because he's always writing something.
It's Uzi or Wanu.
Yeah.
One of those
Yeah.
two. Everybody else is just far
Sometimes.
off, bro. It's a 1 in a million chance, bro.
It's a good thing that carrots are awesome.
Yes.
Understand that we're just kidding.
We're fun crazy.
Yes.
That's what it is, yeah.
Carrots and
I love the
baby.
carrot fandom. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Alright, so the one thing I know as a baby stud about K-pop life and K-pop lifestyle, I guess, idol life, is that they have the most crazy busy, wonky schedule.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing they're young. And I know from, and I think that, okay, so we were watching the behind the scenes for Wooyoung's Artist of the Month. And there's a bit in there where he shows everybody on his phone what time it is, and it's like 11:40 at night. And he's like, and we're just starting rehearsal. And then he shows us again, and it's 5 in the morning. We're just finishing rehearsal. And what we don't realize is that prior to 11:30 at night, he'd been filming Kingdom all day. He's gonna go home, sleep for a couple hours, and go back and film more Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, their schedules are crazy.
They're very
And-
crammed.
Oh, very, very crammed. And I think a few of us kind of understand or get that little taste with Bubble or Weverse or any of the messaging apps when they message, "Okay, I'm finally going to bed," and it's like 4 or 5 a.m. for them. And the thing is this is so normal for their schedules because of how they shoot. Unless they are a minor, so if they're under 18, if they're filming anything to be on TV or whatever, they have to leave, I think it's by like 11. Or they cannot be shown on film.
Yeah.
So there's cute little pictures and things from the first year that Stray Kids did the Olympic thing that the idols did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Isaacs. There we go.
There you go.
I was like, what is it called? But there's this clip, and it's like, there's all the, the babies of the group. They're all standing there because they're under the age of
not
what
allowed
they
to-
could.
And they
Yeah,
can't be
they're-
on film.
They're
Yeah,
not allowed
they weren't allowed to be on film after a certain point.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. But like these idols, all of them, they do these crazy schedules. And when we're watching these things, I mean, Going 17, how many of them do we realize are at night? Because that's when they have time to shoot it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and you think about your schedule. Like, when do you eat? When do you sleep? When do you go to the restroom? When do you, like, download? Like, you gotta, at some point, gotta download all the crap in your body and your brain. And then, yeah, and a lot of these people put into priority how they look, so time at the gym. A lot of them write or produce their own music.
Yeah.
When do they do that? So I guess from a older generation viewpoint, I'd be like, what the crap is this doing to your circadian rhythms? And like,
Oh gosh.
legit, are you gonna survive into like your 30s or 40s? Cause like,
I
you're messing up
worry.
your body.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I worry a lot, especially about like our younger. I mean, all of them are younger than me, really. Anyways, but all of the young ones, especially like the super young ones, like Psychers that just like debuted, and like they're running the same crazy schedules as like ATs and some of these big groups, and it's like once they get so much traction like BTS, they still don't really get a quote-unquote break.
Yeah.
But I feel like the companies tend to give them a little bit more freedom to let them decompress better.
Yeah.
Well, and you think about a lot of these people started doing this idol thing really young, like, right? So,
Dino.
well, I was thinking Ian and Hyunjin were going to school and going to
Changbin.
Changbin was too.
Changbin. We're going to school and going to practice and trying to debut and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
something that they aren't used to. Like, this is kind of, and if you are from Korea and you have insight to Korean culture, I feel like the impression of Korean culture for me is that they're very, very driven. They
Yeah.
value the art of work. They value a hard-working life. They value a hard play life. They value education, and they put those things first, and then that's what they spend their time on. And so I don't think this is something that they just like, oh no. Well, I think about Felix, who, comes in 6 months to a year, and you're like, his whole body's probably wackadoo, because all those people who came from outside countries and don't have that background, right? Who aren't going to school for long hours and education, and parents who want them to do XYZ after school, blah, 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 right? So, yeah.
I am kind of curious, like, how those idols transition. Because it's like we do have Felix from Stray Kids, of course. We have, like, Kevin and Jacob and the boys. We have Keeho from P1 Harmony. I'm really curious of how much of a transition and how hard it was. Because I can guarantee it's definitely hard for all of them. But kind of being thrown into it, I feel might be a little harder. But that's
Yeah.
just kind of my opinion.
Well, and I think that all the people you mentioned are people who come from Australia, Canada, the United States. They come from all these places. They're kind of fairly Western culture. I think people like Nikki, who cut from Unhypen, who comes from a fairly similar culture, comes from Japan, or the 8 or June, who come from China. Might not be as hard a thing for, because they have a similar cultural background.
I feel it would still, like, I feel no matter what, any of them, even when they go from training to debut, it's going to be a change. But I do agree that I feel like those who are more of the Western artists, I wonder if it is harder for them.
Yeah.
Like,
We should ask Keeho, because he would totally answer that.
so would Kevin.
And he would be really blunt. He'd be
The
like,
Canadians, they're all blunt. At least the Canadians usually will give us a straight answer. Some of the others will
Sometimes.
just be like, oh, they'll try to beat around the bush, which we appreciate sometimes, but we also really like honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what else do you think that their life is like, their idol life? Because we know that when they're first debuting or younger, they all live in the same house. That's
Yeah.
got to be a different
Yeah.
experience. That's like going to college early.
Yeah. Well, like, I know that in certain things, like for JYP, they have the dorms
Yeah.
and a lot of, different types of dorms and different things, but a lot of the trainees that do not have family in the area will live there. So, like that's how Chan and Bam Bam and quite a few others, like they really got close, because how else do you expect to happen when there's like 5 of them living in, or more, living in the same dorm?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but you become like family, right?
You would hope.
No, because family fight.
Facts.
So,
Yeah.
True.
I think back to my living with others in college and things like that, and then those people are still close friends for me, even after a long period of time. And yes, did we get along all the time? No, because we're different people. But it would be interesting because they would all have the same trajectory, the same goal. Like they would be
Yeah.
competing with each other and
Yeah.
I don't know, supporting each
Yeah.
other all at the same time, which is probably a
Yeah.
really weird experience.
Well, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I really appreciate Bang Chan from Stray Kids, because he trained for so long and he saw so many others who lived in the same dorm, who did different things, who debuted before him. And I feel like, they kind of mention it a little bit in the survival show. Trigger warning for saying that, sorry. I know that's a pretty rough thing for most people, but they kind of mention, yeah, he was like, well, when is it going to be my turn? And I'm very happy he finally got his turn. But I do feel like sometimes I wonder how much they're like, oh my gosh, like, am I ever going to debut? How much longer do I have to wait? Or what do I need to do different? Because heaven knows that's what Bang Chan was asking. What can I do different to
what's
debut?
wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? Because there is nothing wrong with you, Bang Chan.
No,
Nothing
not
at all.
at all.
You just
And
need the right opportunity.
Exactly.
Because you gotta pick your own group. You had an opportunity that nobody else got.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was waiting for you, and you had to wait for it.
We had
And
to
I
wait
think-
for Felix to get to Australia,
Yeah.
or from Australia to Korea.
And you know how we say stray kids find you when you need them?
Mhm.
That is something that they lived.
Yeah.
They found each other when it was the right time. They made it happen. That's a whole really cool story, right?
Exactly.
So, and I think there's a bit of that in all of the groups that debut, girls, the boys. I think there's a bit of that. And I also think there's a bit of luck,
yeah.
right? So,
Some
Lucky
of it,
people.
kind of continuing with Stray Kids, but it's like Lino, like he'd already toured around and he really wanted to be an idol, and he passed like all of the JYP mandatory trainee dances within like a ridiculously short amount of time, and it's kind of like there is a lot of luck, and I do know like one of my favorite things with Stray Kids is 8 is fate, because yes, they started off as 9, but I think 8
Fate had
is,
other plans for them.
yes, fate had other plans, and but I think with almost any of these groups, we see the curated version of them, whether it's their lives, whether it's like with 17 Going 17, any of their little reality shows, any interviews. A lot of them are very curated and catered to what they think the public wants.
Yeah.
And
Well, they've got this character that they play that is called Bang Chan, I am
Mhm.
Felix. But I'm pretty sure that they show who they truly are to those that are closest to them, their members, their family,
Yeah.
whoever that is.
And I know that they do try to show a little bit of themselves to us, which is why we all love them. But I do know that, like, I mean, they're behind a screen. We're all behind a screen, you know? And I have a feeling like sitting down and talking to most of these idols would be a little different than what we see when they're shooting something and eating or
Well,
whatever.
And I liked what JYP said. He said, in order for you to come across as genuine, you have to put something of yourself into it. And I think that's true. Good job, JYP. I want to kind of shift over and let's talk about the scary side of idol life.
Dispatch.
Oh, I don't know what that is, but okay. What's-
D-I-S-P.
Sorry.
Dispatch.
Wow.
So
That sounded.
it's Felix. So Felix does this like little high pitched voice, and he spells dispatch, and then he's like, and then it,
D-I-S-P-A-T-T-H. Dispatch.
and then it goes straight into
Like a ship from a 5-star.
Michelin.
I love
It's
watching
the-
people react to that
It's
though.
seriously my favorite.
It's so funny. They're like, that's the same person.
Seriously though,
What?
Felix, that Felix effect is beautiful. But
So funny.
So what is dispatch?
Dispatch is a very large, kind of paparazzi-ish company.
It's like a secret paparazzi.
Sort of. It's kind of, so how I would explain it to an American
Uh-huh.
is it's kind of like, well,
Careful.
thanks. Don't laugh too hard. Okay, but it's kind of like the, not Vogue, but like the very paparazzi magazines that you can see.
Like TMZ.
TMZ is perfect. So Dispatch is a lot like TMZ. However, Dispatch has it's not the greatest, but it has a better repertoire with the companies. Mostly because the companies pay Dispatch a lot of money to not
Print stuff.
to not print stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
So there's a lot of, and unlike with TMZ and things, which just post it because
They can.
they can.
Yeah.
But Dispatch kind of has its fingers into everything. And so I can guarantee there's probably a lot of idols out there that are dating, doing different things on the street. And a lot of international fans, and sometimes even the Korean fans, probably don't know a lot about it. Because Dispatch has caught it on camera. Someone in that paparazzi has probably caught it on camera. And they go to the company. You know, so let's say someone in JYP was dating someone. The paparazzi finds the picture, they take it to JYP, and they say, if you pay us money, we won't release it. So, the paparazzi
Okay.
is actually really good in Korea. However, a lot of people are like, oh, they're not that good. No, it's just the fact of they know how to.
Well, that
Get
that
their
sounds
money.
lucrative, right? So
Yeah.
there you go. But I think that celebrities in general, whether they realize it before becoming a celebrity or not, have to have some idea of that their life is not going to be their own.
Yeah.
It happens here in the United States. It happens in Europe. It happens in every
Everywhere.
country that has people who are famous, and whether that's they're famous for being a model, or famous for being an author, or famous for being a musician, whatever that
Even just
is.
famous because they're royalty.
Yeah. Right? So your life doesn't become your own if you choose to live a public lifestyle. And so there has to be some part of your life that you know you have to present a certain image when you're out in public. And that image, either you create that image to be who you really are, or you have to hide what you really truly want to do. And there have been a lot of people who have kind of flown in the face of that, and things have happened. The one that comes to mind right off is Harry and Meghan Markle,
Okay.
that whole thing, right? So yeah, I think that Yeah, he came up being a
It's
prince,
okay.
honey.
I've
And they live here in the
Yes.
United States. But yeah. So I wonder, when you were 14, 13, 12, and you're headed off to your company to train, that you want to debut, that you understand that you're giving part of your life for the rest of your life over to billions of people who will watch you.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of them do think about that, especially because idols train so young. That training starts so young. Some of them start at like 7 or 8. Like, it's crazy to me. But yeah, like, how many of them realize that when they debut, like, dating is going to be ridiculously hard. And then there's going to be the crazy fans who find out and, oh, you're spending money on that person. That's the money I gave you as a fan. It's like, it's their job, so they can spend it however they want, in my opinion.
But think about
yeah.
this. I think that exists not just in K-pop culture. Think about Olympic athletes, gymnasts
Yeah.
in particular, girl gymnasts who start super young, who spend
Oh, yeah.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Figure skaters.
Figure skaters, right? And all for this one goal of being at the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
And then really your life isn't your own. I mean, they kind of get a reprieve, I think. And I
They
think
get
a lot of
little bit more.
K-pop idols,
Yeah.
when their groups disband, they probably go back to being
Normal.
normal.
Not
Ish.
Ish.
I
They'll
feel
still
like
have that.
they still will have, you know, that kind of fame. Somebody will be like, oh my gosh, you're blah, blah,
You're
blah.
this.
But I feel that's kind of the same thing. I mean, New Kids on the Block, for example. Yeah, bring it back. But like New Kids on the Block, when they, I don't know if they technically just,
They kind of just
they
Fizzled?
just kind of like dissolved. But it's kind of like, when you look at Mark Wahlberg, you're like, oh, it's Marky Mark. You know, and it's like, but everybody, like, they might know him from some of the acting or different things he's done. But to me, I'm just like, oh, but that's New Kids on the Block. And I feel like there's still going to be a lot of that with some of these groups. I mean, as
Well, a
they
lot
get
of these
older,
people reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hello, have you seen Kingdom? The guy from 2PM?
Oh my gosh.
Hello!
Yes. Oh, all of the 2PM
And he is
members.
so cute.
Boys Planet.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. So,
What? We get to talk about Boys Planet?
well, Boys Planet baby. I said the wrong thing. I said the B
She
word.
refuses to watch Boys Planet.
Okay.
We opened
No,
Pandora's box.
Well, there you go. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. I don't know how we get through these sometimes.
We don't.
We really
It's all
don't.
my fault. Sorry.
Okay, you and me. I think Baby K here is the only one that can keep us on track half the time.
Unless we talk about Boy Planet. Whoosh! And that's a wrap.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
peace out and love from Mama J.
Missy.
Oh, Baby K.
Bye.
Bye.